Hello and welcome to another absolutely beautiful day here in sunny Nova Scotia. To tell you the truth, it's a bit on the old hot side for this fair Englishman, but I can't complain. This absolute beautiful summer we're having here so far after a rather nasty spring is doing wonders for the vegetable. Even the lettuce, who don't particularly like it this hot, seem to be doing absolutely fantastically. The beans are romping up the poles, and the tomatoes are throwing out flowers and setting fruit left, right and centre. So really happy. But can't be thinking and just resting on my laurels. This optimistic gardener here has got to be thinking about further on into the autumn and extending the season of different crops that we can be picking later on in the year, all the way into the autumn time. You know, and there's a variety of different ways you can extend your season. You can extend your season by picking crops that'll actually don't mind a bit of a chilly weather, and then there's also you can extend your season by using cold frames and hoop houses and things like horticultural fleece to keep your plants a bit warmer over those when that little bit of frost comes along. And I'll go into those a bit more in a moment. So what plants can you be planting for a sort of a fall stroke autumn, as I would call it, harvest? Well, you've got so think about all your spring plants that you put in early that, you know, don't mind it slightly cooler and don't like it too hot, like your lettuce, all your leafy sort of plants like lettuce, arugula, stroke rocket, Asian greens, and kale and spinach and all those sort of plants. They actually, you can start thinking about planting those now, and a lot of those have a sort of a short turnaround time. Let me have a look here. We've got spinach is 45 to 55 days, and things like spinach and kale don't mind a bit of cold anyway, so you can actually take the next 2 or 3 weeks to be planting those, and they will handle a touch of frost, and that actually turns the starches in them into sugars and makes them that little bit sweeter. So you can be planting those over the next few weeks. And things like arugula, and let me have a look here, what's my arugula rocket? See, days to maturity 35. So again, you can, over the next few weeks, you can succession plant those. In fact, probably for the next good month really, you can succession plant those, and you'll still got a chance of a fairly good harvest going into the late September, maybe October. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I'm in zone 6B, I think, here in Nova Scotia. That means I'll normally get sort of the first frosts around the start of October, first couple of weeks in October. Although last year got caught out by, we had a couple of frosts in September, and that did some severe damage to my autumn fruiting raspberries. So I wasn't particularly prepared there. I will be this year. Yeah, so there's your leafy crops. You can be planting those over the next few weeks, and especially those quick turnaround ones, they'll do wonders. And if it's a bit hot, as you can see that I've planted a few lettuce and some rocket in amongst the tomatoes, so there's a nice bit of shade going on there, and that gives them partial shade and keeps them a little bit cooler in amongst there. So that's a good way to get your leafy crops in now. And I've also, as you can see, going to be planting in amongst these asparagus, and you can see there, because they've grown up now, there's a nice bit of shade in amongst there, and that will keep some of your plants, if you're planting them now, a little bit cooler. Another thing I've done is I've planted some rocket stroke arugula in this little pot here, and I'm going to put this outside my my kitchen door in a slightly sun stroke shady area that if it gets too hot I'll just move it into a shady area, and I can be picking these once they start maturing, as and when I want. Pop out the back door, quick nibble on the old rocket, beautiful. So then we move on to the brassicas, so things like broccoli, cabbage and Brussels sprouts. For you Brussels sprouts fans, can't stand them myself, but I know people are partial to a Brussels sprout at Christmas time. They're longer maturing, so they're normally sort of 60 to 90 days type things, so you want to start thinking about getting them in the ground. And I planted these 5 days ago. So these I'm just going to let them grow as the usual thing, the first couple of leaves, and then I'm going to transplant them to another bed, and they should be sort of ready October time, late October, middle of October, depends what the weather's like. And these don't mind a bit of frost, don't mind a bit of cold at all. So all of your brassicas don't mind a bit of cold at all, and you can be picking them late into the autumn time. So that's another cracking idea. And what I have also done is I've planted some peas. Now I planted these again 5 days ago, and they've immediately shot up, so it's not too late for you guys. These are something like 55 days from maturity. So I'm starting to get towards the edge of my frost zone, but again, peas don't mind a bit of frost. Obviously, I don't believe I'm going to get as big a harvest as I've got behind me there, and you can see the photograph. I've got them absolutely coming left, right and centre. But I'll get, hopefully, a decent enough frost, and again, I can put some protection over them, some fleece or something, if I feel there's going to be some early frost. But 55 days, I should get something out of these. So that's your leafies and your brassicas and some peas to be a bit cheeky. Now there's also carrots, so things like so your carrots and radish. Radish is obviously a very quick turnaround crop, and that'll, you know, you can get a couple of sowings of that in by now. And I've been succession planting my carrots all the way through the summer, and they take that little bit longer to mature, but they don't mind a bit of frost in the ground at all, and that frost will again trigger that starch into sugars event in your carrots, and you'll get some absolutely beautiful sweet tasting carrots. So you can be planting them again for the next month, and you should be getting some mature plants out towards sort of December time. Again, you can help them out by putting some sort of fleece or a hoop house over them. So obviously, so the horticultural fleece is just a thin sort of blanket material, and you lay that over your plants, and what that's going to do is just raise the temperature above the freezing point in and around them, tucks them in nicely, and just gives them that little bit of protection through the colder parts as we get into autumn. And a hoop house, I'll be making a video of those over the next couple of weeks to show you how to do an easy hoop house, an easy cold frame. And again, that's going to just raise that temperature in and around the plants just above the freezing level to help them get going. So, like I said, leafies, you can be planting them over. They've got a nice quick turnover, a lot of them, and the spinach and kale don't mind a bit of frost anyway. You've got, as I just explained, your carrots, your radish, things like that. They don't mind a bit of frost. They're a bit longer. Then you've got your brassicas that are going to take a bit longer, but again, they don't mind a bit of frost, and that's going to help you extend your season all the way into the autumn, late autumn, and you could even be picking, and I could even be picking vegetables for my Christmas dinner plate. Job's a good one. See you later.